All right, now you're going.
Hi there. I'm Pat Baker, and for those that don't know me, let me give you a little bit of my quilting background, okay? After my retirement, I began working at a quilt store, which made me really love quilting even more than what I already have. Consequently, I've spent the last 20 years plus making quilts, all kinds, every size that you can imagine, table runners, wall hangings, and I've done it all. Or should I say, I'm going to try to do it all. And along the way, I've taught classes, I've done demos, created patterns for my own use, and even started a quilting group that made quilts and gave to charity. And guess what? After all that, I even started my own Etsy shop. Not bad for an old lady, right? Okay, now let's get to our pattern. Cascading ribbons.
How do you say that? Oh, cascading. Cascading ribbons.
Ribbons. And as you can see behind me.
Here, I'll put it up here. Hi, everyone. Beautiful.
Isn't that gorgeous? And this is what we have behind me. Now this is a very quick, simple quilt. It takes you less than 10 hours to make. And that's not bad for that size quilt. First of all, you need 5 different fabrics, 1/3 yard of what we call textured fabrics. And you can see as I've got them laid out here, the textured fabric is my light teal that I used. And then I turned around and you would need 5 yards of contrasting or blender fabrics, as we call it, to match. And that's why I create my little ribbons. The solid fabric is the blender fabric that I used. And what we do, we start off first of all with the textured fabric. We cut the squares at 9 7/8. You only cut 4 of those diagonally, making cut right across there like the line shows, make them diagonally and becomes this guy. You're going to use that in the end, okay? And then you turn around and use your blender fabric. You cut this at 10 1/4. The blender fabric, you would cut 2 squares out of each color fabric. So you would have 5 different colors here. As you can see by the quilt, there's 5 different colors of the ribbons that are going up and down. And then you would need, from the background fabric, you need 3 1/8 yards of that. And of course, as you know, Pat always buy extra, just in case, you never know. And on that, you would need 10 1/4 inch squares. Also, you need to cut 8 3-inch by width of fabric. That would be for your sashing between the ribbons. And then cut 8 7 inches by width of fabric. That would be for your border. Okay, so let's get going. So on the textured fabric, and make sure you use the textured fabric, not the background. The background would be easier to make your lines on, but you need to do it on the textured fabric and the blender fabric. So what I did is, you turn around and you take your 10 1/4 inch square, put it on top of, right sides together, on top of your background fabric, and draw a line from point to point on either side, corner to corner here. You see my lines? Okay, then you take it to the sewing machine. And what we do is, we sew 1/4 inch from this line down to the baseline here and stop. On the left, turn it, turn it, turn it, so that you have all 4 of those sewn. Then you turn around and you see where
Let's bring that closer so they can see your stitching. And this would be like a friction pen you could use to mark this up?
Correct.
Would be great. See how that stitching is? Yeah, good. Okay.
And then you would turn around and on the drawn line, cut. And you would end up with 4 little blocks that would end up looking like this guy here. I'm going to fold this in half so you don't see the results. You'll end up with these types of blocks, okay? Then you would turn around and you would take this block and take your triangle that you made from your textured fabric, and you would put them right sides together again. You go to the sewing machine. Of course, we have to do that. And I must advise, please, all quilters should have this type of foot. It is a 1/4-inch foot, but it has a guide on it. So if you're like me, I watch TV and sew at the same time. So with this guide, I'm always doing a 1/4 inch. So we quickly make a seam here. We sew it right down. And I'm sorry if I go too fast with the sewing.
Pat is a super speed demon at the sewing machine.
And then we're all done, and of course I'm using this great creative icon, and we have those here. And you turn around, we made that seam, we open it up, and we have this guy. I've trimmed this block down, and that's very important. You need a 9.5-inch square up ruler. You square up this block to 9.5
Here,
inches.
let's show the ruler. This is a Creative Grids ruler.
Correct. The only ones that I use.
The nice thing about these is they have this little roughed up circles on the back so they don't slide.
Correct. And so then we trim it up, and you have this block. This is all you have to do is make all these blocks.
I love those colors, Pat.
Aren't they pretty? Now let me show you how we can put that together to make that ribbon. That would be on the top. Another block that you just made would be here. Now we look at the side. The white is on this side, the white is on this side. Always remember that. And you make the square in the center. And then we keep adding blocks and blocks to create the ribbon. You see how the ribbon effect is now? And then when you get done with all that, you would end up with what we call this is what this ribbon would look like. See that? That's done in the teal. Now all you need to do when you get 8 of these blocks together, you would end up with
Lay it next to this so they see how the let's lay it up here, Pat.
Oh.
So they can see how the 2 rows together look. You could do it out of just one color, couldn't you?
You could, but you would have the sashing in between. That's a 3-inch sashing. Remember that we cut before? That's the sashing that goes in between them. And you could, or you could add a pink. And the same thing. Now, once you turn around and put your rows together as we have on this quilt, and put your sashing in between them, I always square that up before I put the border on, so that you don't have to worry about not having a square quilt. You can adjust a lot of it just with the inner part of it. Now this is the pink one, and the pink one is the same. See the difference in the colors? And that's just this one simple block. And then you're done. Now isn't that the easiest quilt you ever made?
That's pretty. That'd be super cute for a baby, wouldn't it?
Oh yes, you can make it. And if you don't want to do the size, the 9.5, you can always shrink everything down to make it smaller for a baby quilt or a crib size quilt and whatever. So I always ask any questions, but I'm sure that you don't have any. But
well, you can always email your questions in, and we will convey them to Pat, and she will answer questions, no problem. What was the yardage for each of the
you have the pattern right
Oh, we have
here.
the pattern? Okay.
It's 1/3 yard of 5 different colors, like say of the dark teal, 5 different colors for the light teal.
So a third of each shade?
Third of each shade, like I have on the wall.
Okay.
And I did it in black because it just pops the colors, but I wanted you to see what it would look like in the white.
Pretty in the white.
Yes.
A little softer.
Just a little add to. I know you girls always miss my striped table runner. Here's the newest one. So please come in. We have a lot of new striped fabrics.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna do a new fabric video, and so we'll take them on a tour of the fabric department.
Good.
Okay.
Good. Well,
Yay!
thank you all.
Thank you, Pat. Round of applause.
Yay.